Hello, everyone. Andy Schwab here, coming to you from Hobson for the Stevenson Angus Annual Bull Sale, 63rd Annual Bull Sale. Standing by with Joe Goggins, auctioneer, of course. Joe, this sale starting out pretty strong so far, it seems like, and you guys also just finished up with your production sale, and you've been involved in quite a few other production sales themselves. How's your insight been so far this fall?
Oh, I think everybody. It's very optimistic. These cow people, these people within the commercial industry, especially, they feel good. They sold their calves well, and they're having to, a lot of these people are got to spend some money before the end of the year for some tax reasons and this and that. But no, there's really it's very, very encouraging. You're seeing a lot of these people sure watch the genetics, and they're trying to get a set of cattle that got some program and some real performance around them, and because they're sure seeing dividends at the feeder cattle side of this thing. Those folks that kind of watch their genetics, watch the performance package, watch the kind of bulls they buy and the kind of females and commercial females they buy. There's these people that kind of do it at the front end of this thing are starting to reap the benefits on these higher quality, more cattle that show a little more consistency.
Certainly are some good days. And speaking of days to come, Joe's going to be in Casper with us at the Wyoming Stock Growers. You can hear some of the producer profitability talks from Joe as well. That's going to wrap us up from Hobson. We'll be back in a little bit to look at your ag markets.
We asked Montana farmer Walt Sales about the challenges of mental health in agriculture.
Another drought. There always is. There's always going to be another something. I grew up in a generation of you pulled yourself up by your bootstraps. But it's become evident is what do you do if you can't even find those bootstraps? If you need to talk to somebody, go to beyondtheweather.com for free counseling for Montana ag producers.
Welcome back, friends, to your Ag News and your markets. Well, despite the struggles that the cattle futures have felt over the last several months, CattleFax had released a pretty optimistic long-term update. Their CEO, Randy Block, said that the current cattle cycle, that is, will be much slower and prolonged compared to the last, since heifer retention has not started. He also believes the lows in the cattle price cycles were set in 2020 and the peak is still to come in 2025 and 2026. He did note the higher interest rates, lack of confidence in the market strength lasting, and lingering drought will slow that pace of the national herd rebuild as well. When we focus on the end of the supply chain, well, there's a lot more hook space than there are cattle throughout the next few years, and net beef trade deteriorated more than expected this past year. Nonetheless, these announcements did come out after the cattle futures posted limit gains yesterday, as they finally had a chance to stop their slide and post positive gains in the complex. Now, ahead of that Stevenson Angus sale that we stopped at yesterday, Stevenson Diamond Dot held their annual sale in Hobson the day prior. The bull calf averaged right at $5,900 a head, while the commercial bred heifers also boasted prices of $2,500 a head on the average. For the sheep auctions, Pays wrapped up their final sale of the year with demand taking a slight dip on the feeder classes, while coal use crossed the finish line with a bit of burst of energy. Now, the winter wheat contracts also took the page out of the feeder cattle contracts and turned their contract around from that slippery slope they've been on since July. This is probably a profit-taking opportunity for some traders, and there are certainly hopes that this break in the grain traders is exactly what they are looking for to step back into that complex. Well, that's all for Ag News Markets. I'm Eddie Schwab from Great Falls.